What if labor isn't just pain, but a perfectly designed hormonal experience? Your body isn't just contracting during labor, it's communicating. Every hormone released during birth is doing a very specific job for both mom and baby. That's what this video is about, so let's get into it. Welcome to DIY Birth. I'm Chaya, traditionally trained birth guardian, birth educator, and mother of 4 unassisted home-birthed boys. Today we're talking about the labor hormones, simplified. So the big picture here is that birth is a hormonal cascade. Each step sets off the next step. And what happens in labor doesn't just stay in labor, it shapes bonding, breastfeeding, and every step forward for at least the early part of postpartum. So the core hormones in labor are oxytocin, melatonin, beta endorphins, and catecholamines. Think of these less like separate hormones and more like a team working together in perfect timing. There's a little bit of cyclical behavior there, but overall it's a cocktail. Actually, it's more like a relay of handing off the baton and sometimes working in tandem and things like that. But these hormones very much work and speak to each other and to create the experience of labor. So first we're getting into oxytocin, which is really kind of the driver of these hormones. So this is the same hormone behind love, connection, and pleasure in all areas of life. So anytime you see something that makes you smile, hear a funny joke, see a loved one, have a fond memory come to mind and things like that, that feel-good emotion, that feel-good, the warmth that sort of goes through your body, that is oxytocin doing its thing. So the oxytocin powers contractions, one pulse, one release, or rather, oxytocin is released in a pulse, and each pulse equals a contraction when we're talking about the context of birth. So this supports bonding and is actually a painkiller and a fear reduction hormone. So your body doesn't just produce this, it pulses it, it's rhythmic, and let's go with those visuals. Remember, this is the hormone behind love, connection, pleasure. Does the pulsation action sound familiar? It's because it's one of the same hormones behind the things that got the baby in there in the first place, right? And a quick note, synthetic oxytocin is not the same. So that's like syntocin, that's pitocin, etc. They don't behave the same way. They don't play. They're not a team player. It's not a team player. It doesn't like to talk to the teammates, doesn't like to talk to the other hormones. Synthetic oxytocin just sort of brings on the power, but doesn't communicate and do the relay and all of that kind of stuff like oxytocin does. Stop wading through piles of possibilities when it comes to sourcing quality liver supplements. I found the best one for you. Introducing Kosher Carnivore's grass-fed beef liver capsules, artisanally crafted in small batches in Florida. There are absolutely no fillers, flow agents, GMOs, or allergens, 100% freeze-dried and 100% glot kosher. This is nature's true superfood with over 23 different vitamins and minerals made bioavailable by God himself. Liver boosts your energy, brain function, iron levels, and immune system. It improves skin, hair, blood health, and even supports liver function. A powerful supplement during pregnancy, but honestly, it's powerful for anyone in any season of life. Get your own Kosher Carnivore liver capsules and enjoy 15% off your order when you use code CHAYA. Follow the link in the show notes and get shopping. So next we have melatonin, and melatonin is kind of a support player in the hormone team. I guess we're just going with that theme. So there's a reason that labor often picks up at night. Darkness isn't just comforting, it's actually hormonal. It's actually a part of the things that are triggering the labor hormones. So melatonin, as you probably know, is the sleepy hormone, and it works with oxytocin. They play together. There's all this science around receptor sites and all of this kind of stuff. I definitely get into some of my other programs and courses, but for the purpose of this video, we're just keeping it brief and simple. It works with oxytocin. It's the sleepy hormone. Nighttime and sleepiness sort of activates melatonin, or they definitely work with those environmental cues. And it helps contractions become more effective while it's working with oxytocin. So the next hormone is the beta endorphins. So these guys are kind of the buffer. When you're going through labor, sometimes it almost feels like you're not feeling things. And it's not that your body is ignoring the intensity. It's literally with the beta endorphins changing how you experience labor and the whole process. So the beta endorphins are a natural pain relief. It has a response, a give and take relationship with oxytocin. So oxytocin rises, beta endorphins decrease, and they sort of seesaw like this together during labor. So that labor land feeling is not random. The beta endorphins also create an altered, more inward focused state, like an altered consciousness state. So the beta endorphins send you off into labor land, and they also help with pain relief, and they dance with oxytocin, doing a bit of a seesaw back and forth. A cool fun fact that I think everybody and their mother should, unironically, should know is that the baby themselves, like the baby in the womb, will also secrete beta endorphins. So as a contraction comes on, if it's starting to get a little too intense for baby can release beta endorphins from the womb that signal to mom's body, this is a bit intense, let's bring it down. We'll wane the contraction, bring the contraction back down, and the beta endorphins will rise, as we talked about, and that was the baby's trigger this time. So that one's an important thing to note, especially when it comes to considering induction, especially with the synthetic oxytocins, because remember, the synthetic oxytocins don't play ball with the other hormones. So if you have a synthetic oxytocin induction situation going on and baby's trying to signal, hey, this is a bit too much, this synthetic oxytocin is not listening. Okay? Something to notice, or something to, throw in the pot that you are stirring to consider your options, I guess. Moving on, the catecholamines. So these hormones come into play as kind of a turning point. So these are stress hormones. This is adrenaline and noradrenaline. If we activate these too soon in labor, it's associated with slowing labor or stopping labor altogether. So stress early in labor stops labor, okay? You activate cortisol, stress hormones, the catecholamines, then that makes labor come to a stop or slows it down. But in the pushing stage, this is where the catecholamines really come to shine. This is where, just like stress and adrenaline, all of these things shift blood in our system to make us be able to go or to be stronger or to do fantastic things that we need to do, that's where this comes into play for the labor process, right? So at the right moment, these same hormones help you finish strong, where they would kind of mess with you if they show up a little bit too early in the labor. Right at the pushing stage, they are your best friend. And there's this amazing birth cocktail that happens right at kind of the brink of birth. So all of these hormones peak together at birth, pretty much all of them, except for I think melatonin is the only one that's not hanging with all the rest of them. But all of them peak together at the time of birth. It creates this intensity, this alertness, this connection in both mom and baby, the hormones all together. It basically primes them for their first meeting together. And it's a one-time hormonal cocktail situation. But moving outside of the sort of hormonal or emotional, spiritual connection that would be, if we're talking about pure, survival, this is the most important meeting of your life, right? Mom's body needs to be able to respond to this baby in the right kind of way to sustain that baby, and that baby needs mom to survive for all of their needs for a while, right? So think about, caveman days, way ancestral times, right? We need mom and baby's bodies to be communicating with each other. And that first moment of meeting is a pivotal moment. So all of these hormones come together and they create what is called the fetal ejection reflex. So this is actually where pushing is not something that you're doing, but it's something where your body actually takes over, and you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice to birth or not. It's something that actually can happen even if you're in a coma, God forbid. But it has been recorded that even women in a coma have given birth, and it's due to the fetal ejection reflex. It's due to these functions within our bodies that function for the sake of the survival of the human species, right? So it's really fantastic. And as long as we're not getting in the way and stopping all of these things, or causing stress too early, or screaming at somebody to stop pushing when they can't help it, and all of this kind of stuff, as long as we're not meddling, the body knows what to do. It's designed to work. So my closing thoughts about this, I told you it was going to be brief. Labor is a coordinated design. Don't forget that. So if labor isn't moving forward or seems a little bit funky, just know that your body isn't failing you. It's actually following a divine design. It's following a blueprint. It's serving you well. And it's trying to communicate to you that something else is going on here. And it's not a failure on your part. You're not broken. It's perhaps the environment around you. It's perhaps the support around you that is broken or is not supporting physiology. So if you'd like to learn more about physiological birth as designed by the Creator, check out more of my videos here, or go to my website to get the 3-step birth prep mini course, because birth prep doesn't have to be complicated. So that's it for today's video. If you're new here and preparing for sovereign birth, start with the Secret series. It's private and designed to orient you properly. Details in the show notes. Otherwise, feel free to share your input in the comments below and try to keep things civilized. We can only do our best with the tools that we have. If you've gotten value out of this video, give us a like, subscribe, or consider donating through my website at earthboundparenting.org. And with that, bye-bye for now.